Hello again. Welcome to the NthFrmPdcst. I think we're on episode 9, kind of doing mini episodes here. Today is May 28th, and the title for today is The Effective Truth. A quote by Niccolò Machiavelli says, "For the great majority of mankind are satisfied with appearances, as though they were realities." Machiavelli calls this, quote, the effective truth, unquote, and it is his most brilliant concept, in Robert Greene's opinion. And it works something like this. People will almost say anything to justify their actions, to give themselves a moral or sanctimonious veneer. The only thing that is clear, though, the only way we can judge people and cut away all this crap is by looking at their actions. The results of their actions. That is their effective truth. Take, for instance, the Pope. He will sermonize forever about the poor, about morality, about peace, but in the meantime, he presides over the most powerful organization in the world, at least in Machiavelli's time. And his actions are basically concerned with increasing his power. The effective truth is that the Pope is a political animal and that his decisions inevitably involve maintaining the Catholic Church's preeminent place in the world. The religious verbiage is simply a part of his political gamesmanship, serving as a distracting device. And so the daily law is, judge people by the results of their actions and maneuvers, and not by the stories that they tell. So there you have it. Now I'm going to transition into a reiteration of what I think I was able to record in the last one that hasn't been uploaded. I'm going to upload both of them. Is Calamus Gladio Potentiator. The pen is mightier than the sword. Now we want to reveal the shapes of the body aesthetically, psychosomatically, because disease can manifest in certain parts of the body, just as it can manifest in certain areas of the brain, of the mind. So, somare revelum, reveal the body for as it is. Okay. So, my goal is to give you all transformational techniques, knowledge, and wisdom to take your life to the next level. And I was doing a recording the other day about I will be... what holds most of us back most of the time is fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of being judged, fear of social isolation, fear of the government, fear of force used against us, fear of so many things. I thought about it while I was sleeping last night, all these different things. That's what holds us back is fear. Fear of taking the action. And we don't take the action because we justify in our own brains that it's too dangerous. It's too dangerous to do that. I'm trying to make sure this... So, fear that the mic volume isn't loud enough right now, for example. That's funny. All right, so you are what you repeatedly do. And if you repeatedly do fear in your brain, you're afraid, you're practicing false evidence, you're playing out false expectations appearing real in your brain. That's imagination. Then that's what you are. You are fear, you are spreading fear, and you are living in a fearful way. So the best skill is the skill of character judgment. Can you judge someone's character? Because there are different character types, and some of them are not the type of people that you want to be around. Okay? And others are. And that's a great skill to have. Can you judge people's character? All right, a note on anger. Anger is the punishment we give ourselves for someone else's mistake. For someone else's mistake, anger is the punishment that we give ourselves. All right? So I want you to be aligned with spontaneity, with the desires of your heart manifesting. That reminds me of a whiteboard. So the answer is always no to a question unless you ask. Unless you ask, the answer is, of course, no. All right. 6-axis model. I'm going to have to get back to that. Aim distracts activity. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to have to get back to that. Okay, so speaking of spontaneity, every method, every method is inferior to align spontaneity. So, speaking of spontaneity, oh gosh, is this going to be reversed? This might be reversed. Nope, it's good. Okay. So, spontaneity is delta. That's the difference. Entre is between. So, so spontaneity we can define as the difference between thought, I would say impulse as well. Strong desire instantly to do something. Thought and action. So if you want to be spontaneous, you need to reduce the difference between thought and action, roughly equaling 0. Okay? So you want the difference between thought and action to essentially be 0. So when you have a thought to do something, you immediately take action upon it. That is aligned spontaneity. Okay? Now this is a narrative technique, porphyrogenesis. This means born of the color purple. And we can truncate that, shorten it to say purple kingship, because in medieval times you only were able to have purple robes, let's say, if it was produced by like sea urchin blood, I believe, was the only way before we had synthetic coloring to create the color purple, to dye fabric or silk in the color purple. So it was only for kings, basically. But what Green suggests in his books is that you take on something of the like. The category of a genius, of a nerd, of a hero, of a villain maybe, of a king, of a prince. Because when you take that on, it influences the way you see yourself and thus the way you see the world and the way you interact with the world. When you change the way you are, you change the way the world is. When you change the way you see yourself, you change the way you see the world. That sort of self-fulfilling prophecy, the felt sense of reality that you expect, is the creation that eventually comes to pass. So in short, its expectation is creation. If you expect something strongly enough, you're going to bring that to pass. Classic examples. If someone is very confident, has a very strong direction, is very sure that they're going to make it, and is very sure that nothing's going to stop them, it's highly likely that that's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy, they're going to make that come to pass, either through their actions, through the actions of and reactions of others, or some combination of both. All right, and lastly, everybody talks about goals. Everybody makes, not everybody, but 40-50% of people make New Year's resolutions. So what's much stronger than resolutions are having inspiration, figures, being inspired, having a vision. We mentioned this in the last video about what's your view of heaven? What would heaven be? And systems. So vision, systems, and inspiration beat planning. Another way to put it, culture, i.e. the habitual patterns and way that the companies look at the world, the people within an organization look at the world. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. So you could have a great strategy, but the overall culture is the prime mover of an organization and of a person. So if you have an inspiring vision, you have inspirational ideas, you have an inspirational mindset, and you have systems, that will beat planning or goal setting. Not that there's anything wrong with goal setting, but it is said that when humans when humans plan, gods laugh. When humans plan, God laughs. So in terms of systems, you just create a system, learn from other people's systems. You go to any organization, any company, they're going to have a system. Many systems, as a matter of fact. So you need to create your own personal productivity system, your own system for looking at the world, your own system for thinking through things, your own system for making decisions. your own system for how to handle conflict in interpersonal relationships. So any system will do. Any system is better than no system. I will tell you that. Almost any quarter-way decent system is better than no system at all. So we need systems. Systems thinking. All right. So think of yourself as a king, a prince, someone who's worthy of whatever you want to say, worthy of worship, worthy of power, worthy of admiration, worthy of success. How about that? Worthy of success. And a self-fulfilling prophecy means that what you believe strongly enough is what you will bring to pass, because expectation is a form of creation. So expect the best, and you're more likely to receive the best. Especially, we'll get back to that later, spontaneity. All right, I've got to check out for now. So spontaneity is lower the difference between thought and action. I want your thought and action to be essentially aligned. That's spontaneity. And develop an inspiring vision and systems for your life. See you next time. NthFrmPdcst signing out.